Okay, so today we'll talk about organizational structure and communication. Last class we talked about organizational communication and culture. From organization, you had some rules and regulations of organization, and you had some culture in organization. That culture was decoded because of communication, right? So those are the things that we talked in previous chapter. In this chapter, we will talk about organizational structure and communication. Okay, so organizations are seen as well-defined entities with clear boundaries, identities, purposes, which are relatively well-defined. That is in page 45, page 41 of your book, and formal structures. It is argued that social organization is better understood in terms of relational processes. In other words, organizing is a process of ongoing negotiation between people and groups with communication as the oil which lubricates this process. Yes. So between clients and organization, if you separate your organization into, if you separate your organization from the service that it provides, so negotiation plays a good deal of role, and in order to negotiate, communication has to be there. So communication is like the oil, okay, that lubricates the process, the whole mechanism. Different structural perspectives have important implications for the role of communication by offering three different ways of describing the organization's structure. Okay, so they describe the organization's structure. You can describe in many different ways, but in this book they describe in three different ways. As a set of stakeholder groups who are connected through communication, that is one. The other is as a set of managed subsystems. The other is as based on a command hierarchy, which can be realized in different ways. This is taking its route because in such a way that, because we are talking about organizational structure, we talk here about hierarchy and everything. So the three structures, classified structures, are based on stakeholder groups, managed subsystems, command hierarchy. Okay, and this is realized in different ways. Now let's define the stakeholders. Rosemary Stewart. Now once again, we should have our own definition. We should have our critiquing capacity, because we know the scenario. Okay, for example, if you have any finance, if you know any cooperative where so many people are, where so many people in collaboratively they have conducted this organization. You should know what a stakeholder is. But according to Rosemary Stewart, she defines stakeholders as people who have an interest in the organization, which may cause them to seek to influence managers' action. Yes. Managers have to take account of more and more powerful stakeholder groups than in the past. Yes, that is what manager has to do. And communicator, a business communicator, a technical communicator is also a manager. So you should have a potent to accumulate more and more stakeholders than in the past. They must consider broader issues and implications, and so communication with both suppliers and local community must forge long-term relationship for common good. Okay, because there are so many stakeholders, and it has a specific purpose, right? It has a common good, so they have to work for a good orientation, for common good, and this should last for a long period of time. Longevity and consistency plays good deal of role in this thing. Defining the organization subsystems. The executive group in charge of an organization is responsible for maintaining a number of communication systems. These systems are interdependent. Means one system depends on other system. That is something that we have to comprehend and understand. Let's define the hierarchy. There are different forms of hierarchy in the modern organizations, right? The reason that I have mentioned modern organization, we have talked about modern organization, is the classic organization is obsolete in a way, is outdated now. Therefore, we prioritize in modern organization. So modern organization can be NCEL, NTC also these days, because management has changed after Chaudhary took 51% stake. Yes. So one fairly typical set of definitions comes from Andrews and Hersal. They suggest 6 prominent forms of organization. The traditional centralized structure, that is one. The other is the centralized structure with decentralized management. So from the terminology, it should be clear. The centralized structure, okay, the structure is centralized, but the management is decentralized. Means if you have one organization, if you want to have organization in Kathmandu, the structure would be the same in Biratnagar also, but the management would be different, decentralization. Okay, Nepal before 5 years had a centralized structure, but now with so many, Nagarpalika and Gaon Vikas and whatnot, now Nepal is entering into this decentralized management mode, right? So the management is decentralized. The other is 3 is the divisional form, 4 is the decentralized structure. Okay, so decentralized structure. The structure is also decentralized. Every structure is taken care by every individual, by every related manager. Okay, by every related personality. And the matrix structure. Matrix structure is a very fantastic thing. The word matrix is related here in a very minute way. For example, every workers in an organization, they have their job delegation. Very less have a hierarchy command, right? And nobody's work is related with